Yep. Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's premier resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, the moon phase, and the tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grab as an angler, just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, so we're in the midst of a bunch of different cold fronts going on, weather reports and forecasts being a little embellished and not so right, but hey, the fishing is still happening. So we're going to get right into it with our inshore stuff. And to start out with, we will go with the ever so famous Pedro Ramos. He is putting on a clinic still with the sheep's head. Now, I know you see a dolphin here. So what it was is he started out on the reef, going for some mutton snapper, drifting around, caught this dolphin on a flat line, got a yellow jack, and then he came in. So I really want to show you the sheep's head, right? He's got these sheep's heads. So they're floating around. Hey, Pedro, how you doing, buddy? Yes. Star of the show. And so the sheep's head are there. Pedro is, man, he's an expert at finding them. Let me show you close up. Here we go. So here is his lady. This is Anna. And yes, so they're picking off the sheep's head. And, you know, it's great because you can go in the intracoastal and find these fish. You don't have to go out and brave the elements if, you know, it's too cold, too wet. So sheep's head are biting. Also, we've got, let's see what else we've got. I know we got a few inshore bites. So Pedro did great. And, you know, always finds a way to find fish. So here we've got a shore-based little shark right there. This is by Ty. Not quite sure what shark that is. Anyway, I asked him if it was dinner or bait for a hammerhead, and no reply. But, you know, little sharks like that are always bait for big sharks. So anyway, yep, there you go. Sharks are always around on the beach if you're going off at night. Also on the beach, we've got the Spanish mackerel run and the bluefish run. So if you're out there and you're shore fishing and you don't know what to target, be sure to look for pods of Spanish mackerel and bluefish swimming by. Those are great fish to target. Here we go. Marlo Kennedy with a nice speckled trout. That's an inshore fish, definitely over the grass flats. You're not going to find them really on the beaches. You got to find grassy areas. So, you know, lower in the Keys, and Miami, they're down around there. They're also up north where you can find, you know, up towards Sebastian, Vero, and also on the west coast. So there we go. Nice catch right there. Inshore. Also now, somebody's got to help me out with this. Somebody, you know, making a little joke here, but I'm not sure if that's a croaker or a whiting. I always get them wrong. Anyway, if you know what it is, help me out. Pedro, maybe you know what it is. All right, so let's keep on keeping on. So that's our inshore bite, right? Let's move on to the reef. Like I said, the sheep's head. Pedro has found a way to get a constant bite with them. You know, you're going to want to fish they're always hanging out near the docks, and they eat the crustaceans and all the crud that you can scrape off a dock. That's how you chum them up. And then Pedro has luck with different sort of stuff, shrimp or whatever. You got to find out. He says they got a really soft bite. So let's see what he actually said. Pedro says Palm Beach started out bottom fishing and slow pitch jigging, frozen sardines, ballyhoo, a couple short muttons, 2 red groupers, 1 keeper, but of course grouper is closed, all between 90 and 260. And then that dolphin that you see him with right here, this nice little, he says it's a peanut, but it's a bull dolphin. It's a bull dolphin. Says that guy hit in about $1.40. Came back to the inlet and, you know, punished the sheep's head. So there we go. There is Pedro's report on what's happening. All right, so let's move off to the reef, right? We've got grouper season's closed, and of course they show up. Here we go. This is Chris with a nice red grouper. Red grouper got to be 20 inches when they're in season. I believe the season opens back up in May. Could be wrong. But yeah, for now, grouper is all catch and release. It doesn't matter which one you catch. Here we go. This is Nick. Darn. Stop. Why are you doing this to me? Of course, it won't blow up a video for me, but we'll go back to that. Anyway, Nick caught a red grouper. He says he got 3 nice reds. So again, the same thing. And I mean, that's a good one right there. Yeah. So let me see if he gave us any information on it. It doesn't matter if you catch them or where they're being caught. You're going to release them. Okay. Back to it. Here's Sed on the reef, right? Caught a lot of undersized muttons, snappers, bunch of grunts, some on the flatland. This is out of Boynton Beach. So here is a typical, it's a good day on the reef. If the bite is slow, this is what you're going to produce, right? You're going to get some triggerfish, some porgies. I see a sand tile fish in there, a couple lane snappers, one yellowtail swam up and bite, and the grunt is in the mix. Other than that, the porgies are nice. So this is a nice reef buffet. He's going home and eating real good. You cannot knock this. He's actually got 3 triggerfish in there, which is solid. So great reef buffet. Don't be afraid to get out there and fish. And it's a silver perch. Good eating, but normally small. So we'll go back to that. Answers my question. Thank you. Because I'm silver perch. That is this fish that I had no clue what it is. Like I said, there's some fish. I don't know everything. Anyway, back to the reef, right? We've got Mike Long he fishes out of St. Lucie. So nice stud mutton snapper. He had a couple of great days. He was in on the tuna bite and the mutton snapper bite. So he gave some information about his about this mutton bite. Let me see if I can find it real quick, as he was talking about it. Let's see. The mutton snapper, 32 inches, 15 pounds. That was the one you just saw. It's one of almost his personal best, drifting a grunt plug. So obviously he cut off the head of a grunt. He also got a 28-inch, 9.5-pound one, and then 2 smaller ones that were 19, just barely keepers, but he threw them back to grow up. And then he ended up with some tuna. We'll show that now, even though these are pelagics, and those are good-sized tuna. Those blackfins right there are not the little footballs. So he's, he's in on it. Mike's got the tuna dialed in, and he's a great mutton snapper fisherman. So, I've seen him catch many, many species, but he knows how to find these fish in good size and lace into them really good. So that mutton snapper. So we're looking at the reef, right? The reef is alive. It's happening. It's colder. If it was me and I was doing reef fishing, I'd be going after yellowtail. So just bear that in mind. All right. Now we had someone ask Sed, who was the guy with the cooler full of everything right here. He caught a toro. Asked a great question. We all sometimes would catch fish and we don't know what it was, and everybody was kind enough to chime in and tell them, hey, do you ever catch one of these fish, right? This is known as a toro, a big-eyed toro, whatever you want to call it. It is a snapper. They are unregulated. You can keep them and you can eat them at any size. If you talk to some people that are picky about their fish, they'll say, it tastes like iodine. Total BS. Toro are great. There's no funky flavor. Throw them in the cooler, take them home and eat. So if you ever end up with one of these and you don't know what it is, that's what it is. They're on the reef. And typically, so you saw his cooler was, porgies, sand tile, a couple of lane snappers. Typically, when you're having a slower day, you will run into a few of those also. So, some days fishing the reef is rough. Many people don't understand. Getting dialed in and having a great day on the reef successfully all the time is one of the toughest things to do. Trolling is personally what I believe to be the easiest way to get into the bite. Fishing that reef, man, it can be heartbreaking sometimes. All right, so back to the reef, right? Let's see what else we got. Reef, we'll talk deep reef right here. We got Carlos with sailfish. Not much acrobatics, but popping his head out of the water right at the boat. You see he's got it on a spinner right here, so nothing more fun than getting there. We got someone who says, went yellowtail fishing this past Sunday out of patch reefs in Miami, and all were undersized. So yes, Christian, so you've got to watch out. I fished the patch reefs for many, many years out of the Upper Keys, out of Key Largo, out there on the elbow, inside the elbow, just past the intercoastal, which is also the trench where all the boats Hawks Channel is what it's called. You go past there, the patch reefs are in 8 to 10 feet. I troll up yellowtail, but I tend to find them all undersized there. Periodically, you will find giant mutton snapper there that you can troll up with like a white bucktail jig. But if you're looking for solid yellowtail snapper, you got to head out to that 70-foot range on the reef. The patch reefs, yes. What you caught, those undersized ones, that's typical of the patch reefs. So, all right, so sailfish, right? Like I've said it for many past weeks. It's getting cold. We've got these north winds coming down. Sailfish are around. So if you're a sailfisherman, man, it's time to go out there and get them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about pelagics. We'll move on, right? And then we'll go over, give a little overview. So we saw Mike with the blackfin tuna. Blackfin tuna are down there. The wahoo bite is still happening. This is Pete from down in the Keys. Got himself a nice wahoo. We've also got, yes, no problem. You were in 20 to 30 feet of water. So you were a little bit further out than the patch reefs. The patch reefs are right when you first start seeing the coral heads. Then you hit some sand, and then past that in that 20 to 30 foot range, that's the beginning. That's like almost the first reef. And then you go past that, and then you actually hit like that reef line. This first reef, yeah, it's rough. But the patch reefs, they're literally like 8 to maybe 15 feet, and then you hit sand. And then you go out, and then that's the next reef. So that's the next reef that you were on. So you were a little further out than the patch reefs. But regardless, the yellowtail are going to get, they get sizable out in that 70-foot range, when you start hitting the ledges. So just bear that in mind if you head out there and do it again. Okay, pelagics, right? So the wahoo are still swimming around. I got another wahoo to show you right here. This is Yasmini Perez. Nice wahoo. So they're out there, folks. You just got to put in the time and find them. And if you're out there trolling and you're seeming like nothing's biting, put in that time, and when you get that hit, that'll make your trip complete. So guys, I want to say we always have the thing about trying to, if you submitted a photo, right, we can make a thumbnail out of it. As long as it fits within like the little rectangle. So if you're constantly taking pictures with your phone upright, it makes it hard. Hold your fish if you want to try and be in the thumbnail. And I like to get I'd like to give everyone a chance, right? I don't want to put the same folks time after time, but if the photo fits and I can get it in and make the thumbnail, it's right. But if we take not telling anybody what to do at all. But if you would like to try and submit for the thumbnail, it's easier to make it if you have a photo that is like this, like right here with what Pedro's got. I can sort of play with it and make it the thumbnail. It's easier than having like this one where, this would have been a great shot had the camera been turned the other way. Not complaining, it's just a piece of advice. If you'd like to be the thumbnail, I realize in the heat of the moment, all rules go out the window and say, hey, let's get this picture and let's get it done. And it's great. Still, like I said, so back to the task at hand, wahoo. So there we go, some pelagics. That's deep reef pelagic, remember. So the same thing with the blackfin tuna. They're going to be out, 300 to 500, your wahoo, or, the deep ledge of the third reef. 300, some are going to be in over, the second reef or so, but still, also king mackerel are swimming around. Don't be afraid to go into, you know, $1.50, $1.20 and try and get them. The barracuda, they're going to tend to lay low until the summer. The sharks, yeah, you know, man, there's regulations on sharks, so they're hard hitting right now from everyone. Let's look at this. Also, here we go. This is John. I forgot to get to this one. Nice red snapper. These are deep reef creatures and they're big. So we have seen some people, some charter boats landing red snappers here out off the southeast coast. And you ask me, you're like, wait, you got a red snapper down here? They say, yes, they travel with the vermilion snapper. So it's not entirely impossible. I didn't think they were down here, but you know, I talked with a mate from he works on Texas Wireline, and they caught one, and I also saw the Bolo caught one the other day. So yeah, they're down here. They're not just up north. So all right, so that's pretty much all of our fish. So let's talk about what we got going on real quick. Oh, sorry, here's another one. So this obviously must have been showdown. This is from Alec. Nice submission, right? We got a blackfin tuna and a couple of red grouper. This must have been from a few days back because we know grouper season shut down January 1st, but still a great submission. Hey, got out there and they put some meat on deck. That's a ton of food right there. All right, let's see if we got anything else to show off. Like I said, you know, if you make a submission, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get it on the show and, you know, show what you caught. And it's always nice to get you on the thumbnail if we got a chance. All right, so that's what we got going on there for our fish. So let's talk real quick. Our reef, right? The mutton snapper, gotta have to dig for them. The sharks are also out, and they're gonna dig for them too if you get hooked into them. You're gonna want to look over the deep structure for them this time of year. We've got yellowjack, as you saw, Pedro landed one. But like I said, if I'm right now, if I'm going out fishing, I'm going yellowtail fishing. I'm going to park it in 60 to 70 feet of water, chum until they show up. Best current for any snapper fishing is a north current. If you've got south current, it's not impossible, but it'll be the best current is always a north current. If you have no current, it's going to be a very slow day snapper fishing, if they even show up at all. But then again, you've also got the possibility of the porgy, the grunts, and, you know, a few other species showing up. The current is always best, right? Okay. And then heading off the deeper reef, the false albacore have sort of petered off. They're not going to be super abundant. If you want to catch them, you can troll in the 30 to 40-ish range. They will be in closer and shallower this time of year. Head out deep, 100 plus feet. You're looking for king mackerel. The wahoo will be out there. They're scattered, but they're still there. King mackerel would be more of what you're looking for right now. And then as you head further out, you will be looking for your blackfin tuna. Now there are mahi, like you saw Pedro got them. Mahi are scattered. They're swimming all around. It's cold right now, so the mahi I would tend to think will be in a little bit shallower than, you know, way the heck out halfway to the Bahamas. You'll be looking for them anywhere in the $150 to, I would say, 500 range. If you're out there doing that, what they're going to hit, it's hit or miss. You know, they might be only touching live bait one day. They might only be hitting ballyhoo one day. Another day, they might only go after live bait. So, you know, another day, they might only hit a bucktail jig that's being, you know, jigged up as fast as you can reel it in. They're going to be picky this time of year, and they're going to be very scattered, but they are around. Like I said, I've said this before, mahi, also known as dolphin, they're always around, but they're just more abundant come that summertime, or, you know, late April, May into early June, and then they become peanuts for a while. And then as we approach October, we get another run. So alrighty, so that's our fishing report for right now. Let's move on and talk about weather. Right, we had a cold front pass through today. It's today it was a little nice out there. Oh, another thing, golden tilefish. Had a guy say he caught some golden tilefish, He didn't want to post the picture, very reluctant to. And I've noticed the absence of folks posting golden tilefish catches this year simply because NOAA got involved last year and they shut down the program after 4 weeks. I'm pretty much sure it's going to happen again this year. Even with the absence of everybody posting everyone they caught. But it is a way to sort of tame down the information. Recreational fishermen are not required to report a catch of a golden tilefish, and it will leave the feds guessing. But at the same rate, they might, I'm not sure how they base it. If they base it off the catches that are coming in from the commercial guys, they can all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to shut down the rec fishing. That way the commercial guys can keep doing their thing and produce a catch. But yeah, I think, I've noticed a major reduction in visual posts of golden tilefish this season. And, the feds seem to have scared people off because of what they did last year. And in previous years, golden tilefish had never been shut down. They just all of a sudden decided to do it because there has been a surge in deep drop fishing over the last couple of years, and golden tilefish are one of those prize fish that everybody lays into. So, golden tilefish, and also vermilion snapper. Somebody posted on my personal timeline a catch of vermilion snapper. So yeah, he said he landed on them in 150 feet. They're out there. You just got to find them in structure, and they move. So there's fish also. And also, if you're bombing out, hey, head out to 800 feet if you've got deep drop capabilities and go for rosies. They're always there. All right, so that's our fish. Let's talk about weather, right? Cold front went through today, so it's going to get windy starting tomorrow. And then I believe towards the end of the weekend into next week, we're going to also have another cold front push. So let's take a look at windy. And like I said earlier in the program, man, these forecasts have been bonkers off, especially with the wave heights and what's going on. So, like I said last week, towards the end of the show, check out your webcams and stuff for the accuracy of what these weather forecasting apps are telling you, because for the past couple of weeks, they've been crazy out of whack and out of sync with what the reality is going on offshore. I mean, they're saying, you got an app saying, hey, it's going to be 4 to 6 feet. And you look at your, you cancel your plans, you got other stuff going on. Then you click on the inlet cam and it's dead flat with maybe a little swell coming in. Like, darn it, I could have gone out. So again, use all your resources. And if you think it's good, plan your trip, and then if it isn't, hey, you can always cancel at the last minute before you get the boat in the water, or you get out there, or you keep your options open like Pedro does. He goes and finds fish somewhere, somehow, all the time. Anyway, this is what we're looking at right now. Winds mid-teens coming out. They got a small craft advisory going on. Tomorrow morning, winds coming from the northeast. Again, we're going to have this front passed through earlier today, which means our winds are going to pick up. There's some low pressure out there to the east, somewhere out here. Yes. That's going to drive some more wind towards our area. Okay. Let's see. Tomorrow afternoon, wind seems to subside a little bit, not much up in the Big Bend. Looks like it lets down. Tampa Bay is all right. But again, our west coast is the leeward side of the peninsula right now. So their seas will be laid down. And again, they're in shallow water. So we've got these winds coming from strong winds in the mid-teens coming from the northeast, and that's tomorrow. Thursday, looks like in the Tri-County area, the winds in the morning are going to be calmer. As we head further north, St. Lucie and north up into Palm Bay, Vero Beach, you've still got a north wind that's in the mid-teens. Out here where the southeast coast, the Tri-County area, like I said, it's less than 10 miles an hour. and down into the Keys. On the Atlantic side, it looks like they're right around 10 miles an hour, 10 knots, whatever you want to say. They're give or take a few, clicks. It's heading from the east. As you get into Everglades National Park and the 10,000 Islands, it starts, pulling a little faster after the wind travels over the land. Okay, so that's Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, looks like it's calming down more. Okay, so we're going to have a day of wind, which would be tomorrow. Thursday, it looks like it'll settle down. So hopefully the seas agree with that and give you a little bit of a break into the weekend. And we will check that out, when we go into our numbers forecast. So Thursday, Friday morning, looks like we're going to start getting some more wind from the northwest. Now, remember, when we got a northwest wind, it creates a swell. So we will have some seas lay down. Now, when this wind coming from the north, when we get these cold fronts coming through, when the wind suddenly shifts to the southeast, that's when it really lays the seas down. Because even if the seas are rough and they're big, and then you get a direct shift from the southeast, that's when the seas tend to really lay down and you can get out there and you have a nice day. So this is Friday morning. The northwest wind starts coming in on our west coast. It's heading from the northeast. So the wind's kind of swooping down. Swooping down and going towards the west coast. Friday afternoon seems to lay down a little bit more. Saturday morning, our wind. Here we go. So our wind starts ripping from the southeast, which means it's going to warm up. Saturday will actually be the warmest day of this week, and it's you're going to have these southeast winds, which, like I said, when it's coming from the north like it was, and then it shifts like this sort of weather pattern tends to lay it down. Let's see. Kenny Holiday says, got out yesterday and found a nicely formed untapped weed line at $1.50 out of Lucy. Followed it south, filled the cooler mahi, trolling about. Hey, there you go. So yeah, they're out there. Like, so you're definitely verifying what I was saying. The dolphin are in shower. It's cold right now, so the dolphin ain't going out into 60-degree water. The mahi historically feed best between 72 and 78 degrees. So they're coming in close right now where the water is a little bit warmer because there's less water between the ground and the air. So, hey, thanks, Kenny. That's awesome. I'm glad you loaded the boat. That sounds good. Then they hit ballyhoo, right? So there's a little tip for you folks that are heading out if you're looking for the mahi. All right. So this is Saturday. Let's look at Saturday afternoon. Again, the wind still starts kicking a little bit more from the southerly, heading to the southwesterly in the afternoon. The lower Keys look like they might get cut a little break, but again, you have to see what's going on. Again, use your resources. Like I said, these weather apps are all over the place. And this, honestly, it's Tuesday. This right now could change. They had a change of when our rain chances were going to happen. They said rain chances, best chance for rain actually is on Thursday now. It was going to be Friday, but it pushed up because of what's happening. So again, just use these as a guide, right? But really make sure you check out your webcams. All right, Sunday morning, same thing. We've got that south wind, and as the weekend starts to end, we will be getting another cold front coming through. So we'll see. So Sunday morning, south wind, lower Keys, and it's going to be pulling. So we'll see what happens with our waves. Sunday afternoon, kicking it to the west, right? So that's going to produce this swell. And this is what I'm saying. You're going to see our winds start to come from the northwest again. Monday morning, there it is. Comes our next cold front. Monday. All right. Monday afternoon, again, then you get your northeasterly wind. So, and you can see the front right here pushing through. That's your front. So And then let's look at Tuesday, because usually following the front is really when it starts to pick up. Yeah, Tuesday, we're going to have a strong easterly wind. So going into early next week, we're looking at the front. So the weather is probably going to be, a little bit on the miserable side. Tuesday afternoon, you got these high winds, Tri-County area, not so bad, down into Miami, but it's coming straight from the east, and it's going to be a little bit bumpy out there. All right. So let's go to tomorrow morning and look at what our waves are going to be, right? So right now, West Coast is, like I said, their local waters, state waters are pretty much laid down. For us tomorrow, it's going to be a little bumpy out there, but as the week progresses, it's going to ease up. So tomorrow, we're looking at probably 2 to 4. Biscayne Bay is a little lighter. Everglades National Park, obviously, not too bad. But again, today was very nice out there. Tomorrow, the winds are going to pick up because of the front that just passed. So the wind is going to follow the front. That's when it's going to become a little bumpy. But today was beautiful. All right. So tomorrow afternoon, it looks like it lightens up. And this will be the trend. And especially, over here, Marco Island area, very nice out there. Keys, Inshore Keys, not too bad, but if you really want to get out there and do the fishing on the patch reefs and stuff, which is right around in this area where it starts to turn darker, it's going to be a little bit bumpier out there. Now, again, for those of you that are just joining us, I want to go over what I'm getting at when I say this. This is Windy. It's a weather forecasting app, and down here, whether you're looking at it on your phone or on the computer, it's somewhat similar. You've got this color-coded chart, which tells you what size the waves are. This is waves in feet. So that's where you see this different color shading down here is where you go and you look at it and you go that. Now you can also, if you're using it on a laptop or a computer, you can also click in any random spot. So let's say I want to find out the wave sizes in BOCA tomorrow. I click there and it tells me we're looking at 6-foot waves from the northeast with a period of 7 seconds. So it's somewhat of a swell, not too bad. And they're saying 6-foot waves. So that would be tomorrow afternoon. Let's move on. Thursday morning, we should have, it's starting to lighten up, right? So again, we click on it and it'll say something about 4 foot from the northeast. So a swell has formed after the front that has passed us, okay? And it's not looking too bad. Lower Keys inshore waters is 1 to 2 feet. The Tri-County area all the way up is going to be, that 2 to 4 foot swell. So not ultra bad. You'll actually be able Thursday, like we saw, the wind is going to kind of cut a break. So that would be the actual day to probably try and get out if you can. Thursday afternoon lays down the most. So if we look at our color coded shade here, we're looking at, again, they're going to call it, they'll probably call it, what are they going to say? They're saying 4 foot still, but you can see the shading has gone down. So you probably say about 3 foot, right? And then again, if it's a swell, it's really, by the time it gets inshore, it's not going to be much. Let's look at Friday morning, the same thing. So Thursday actually starts out a little bit bigger, and heading into Friday is actually the same as Thursday afternoon. So Friday, according to Windy, is gonna, be a little bit on the lighter side. Friday afternoon, again, we're lessening up, and the further north you go, this is Mike Long's territory up here, St. Lucie, and the folks up in Sebastian and stuff like that up there. I know, from Indiantown north, it looks like your inshore waters, those deep reef waters, are going to be a little lighter than they were versus the Tri-County area down here, all the way down to Biscayne Bay. Now, remember, Biscayne Bay is a protected area. It's shallow water, so it doesn't really get too, there's not enough water to create big waves in there. But offshore, from Palm Beach down to Fort Lauderdale is a little bit bumpier than it is from, Sebastian down to Indiantown. All right. And of course, Everglades National Park and the 10,000 Islands and all that good stuff, all the way up to Naples, Bonita Springs. Tampa Bay is, the Clearwater area is looking, But that's, again, shallow water. Where you don't have a deep water, it's very hard to make big waves. So just keep that in mind if you are in that area. All right, Saturday morning, looks like our waves are going to start picking up again. So this is where we saw that shift. The wind will be coming from the south. We have that shift from that direct shift from the wind coming from the north to the south. So it's going to warm our air up, and it might, it should make the seas a little bit pleasant, but according to this, not really. If we click on it and see here, it says 4 foot at a 4-second period. So it might be sporty out there if everything happens with what this is saying. You're just gonna have to watch it. And like I said, so right now, according to this graphic, it looks like Thursday and Friday would actually be a better day than Thursday. Saturday afternoon, we're still picking up. Let's go to Fort Lauderdale. 4 foot waves at 5 seconds. Up in the Palm Beach, 5 foot waves at 5 seconds. So there's a very short period, which is a very sporty, hazardous condition out there, especially heading in and out of the inlet. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh Lord. Thank you. All right. Sunday morning, it lessens up a little bit. It lets up a little bit. Very good. So Sunday morning, we're looking at 3 foot at a 4. Thank you, Pedro. 3 foot, but a 4-second period. So remember this: when you've got these short periods, a 4-second period, waves are very close. So if you got 3 foot waves at 4-second period, it's going to be bumpy out there. I don't care if you're on a 25 foot boat. You're going to be rocking and rolling. So Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at waves from the south with short periods. The swell will have ended according to this, and we'll go further in depth here in a minute and examine what other people are saying about it. Sunday afternoon, looks like it's, up north, it looks very nice. You got a 2 foot waves at a 4-second period. So that's still a little bumpy, but not too bad. Further down south in the Tri-County area, you're still 3 foot waves at 4-second period. So it's going to be sporty out there. But then again, hey, sailfish show up in those sporty conditions. All right, Monday morning, not too bad. Looks like we got a bit of a confused sea with the swell starting to form as our front approaches again. Monday afternoon, here comes our swell from the northeast with the approaching front. So, come Monday, we're going to have ripping winds, but again, the swell will start to be. So if you look here, what they're saying, you probably got, they're saying 5 foot at 5-second period, which is very sporty. So be wary come next, early next week. Let's see, Tuesday, same thing. Oh man, we got big waves coming on Tuesday. So doesn't look like, heading into, mid next week is going to be very fun. All right, so let's head off that screen and we will go to WindFinder. This is the WindFinder app. Again, folks, if you are just joining us and this is one of your first times here, all of the forecasting apps I use, all the links are in the description. You can find them, use them at your disposal. And also don't be afraid to go and look at your local webcams to see what the conditions are really like, because these, like I said, for the past couple of weeks, these forecasts have been hit and miss, and they've been wrong. So, okay, so here we are. Tomorrow, we've got our winds northeast, right, ripping at the mid-teens. Okay, we've got they're saying, agreeing with what Windy was saying, 7-second to 6-second period with 4 to 6 foot waves. So it's a little swelly, but not much. It's going to be big out there, right? Heading into Thursday and Friday, which are the days we were saying, that's probably going to be your better days, right? So Thursday, we've got a variable wind, east, southeast, northeast, all over the place. Friday starts out northwest and shifts to the east in the afternoon. So we're looking at, 2 to 4 foot waves, swells that increase the period heading into Friday. So as we said, Thursday afternoon, it's looking like it'll be more swelly and it will lay down. Our wind will tend to lay down, not very gusty on either days. As you can see, your steady winds are mid single digits on both days, and the gusts are tending to not be much higher. Not very gusty at all, but steady. And again, 2 foot, 3 foot on Friday, and we've got an 8-second period. So this is a swell. Then comes Saturday, that's all going to change when our wind shifts direction, apparently, and we start getting these. So you see, when we looked at so Saturday and Sunday, right? We're looking at 2 to 4 foot seas again, but our period is very short. We got 5-second period. Our winds are on Saturday are mid to high teens, and Sunday lower double digits. Heading into the afternoon, they pick up a little bit. Gusts. We're looking at some gusty stuff happening out there, which is going to force those periods between those waves to shorten, which is what you're seeing right here, the 5-second period with a 4 foot wave. That's very sporty conditions out there, even for folks on 30 plus foot boats. And then coming into Monday, we get the north wind as another front approaches, starting to head easterly, mid-teens, not very gusty, right? And the swell starts to show up again. And it's, that swell the period between it will pick up as we go into the middle of the week. But again, you're looking at large waves. Now, this is the part where they were getting it all wrong for the past couple of weeks, saying, hey, the swell is going to be huge. It's going to be hazardous conditions. And it was actually nice out there, and people were able to get out and go and do what they love doing. All right, so let's click off that. We're going to look at NOAA, what NOAA is saying real quick, see if they jive with any of that stuff. And we will be waiting for a notice from NOAA, obviously, in the up and coming weeks of when they're going to shut down the golden tilefish. All right, so NOAA tomorrow, they're saying northeast winds 15 to 20, gusts up to 25, seas 4 to 6, kind of going what they're saying. But remember, NOAA is such a large area that they're covering that it's hard to say. You can actually pinpoint stuff using Windy and WindFinder. You can go and say, hey, I'm looking at Fort Lauderdale, or I'm looking at Boca, and you can hone in and get a more local thing. This one here wants to tell you from Jupiter Inlet down to Deerfield Beach. So, we're looking at 50 plus miles of coverage, and conditions are constantly different in different parts. This is Florida. It's raining in your backyard, not in mine. Same thing up as far as Jupiter. This swell could be 2 feet. And as you get down into Deerfield, all of a sudden you've got, a swell that's not a swell. The period's closing and it's 3 to 4 foot. So just bear that in mind. Thursday, 5 to 10 knots. So they're saying, yes, they're agreeing here that it's going to calm down heading into Friday. So here they're saying Friday through Sunday. They're saying seas 2 to 4 foot, the 6-second period. So again, the Friday is actually looking like it would probably be the most pleasant day. The weekend, our wind direction is going to shift, and it looks like we're going to have waves from the southeast with a very short period, which is that stuff's brutal. It's wet, and it more than likely will be cold. So, there's some of us that love that stuff. Me, I can do wet or I can do cold. I don't like doing both, which is why I haven't been fishing lately. And it was funny. My wife was talking with me. She's like, you got this fishing YouTube channel. It's hard to have a fishing channel when you don't go fishing. I agree. But we're going to get out there and we're going to work on it coming this season. I've had a couple of folks ask me, hey, what's going on with the tutorial fishing and getting offshore and showing them how it's really done. And yeah, it was a bit of a rough year. Had a bunch of unexpected things happen, but we're gonna hopefully this year get back on track and get back out there and actually start doing it. Yes. All right. So that's that. Now let's take a look at our moon phase, right? We are in the moon phase. If you can get out there and do your wahoo fishing, like we did see a couple of wahoo caught, right? So they're fishing by that moon phase. Wahoo are a moon fish. Snapper, I don't really think they are. Dolphin, when you got an illuminated moon, they eat more at night. Your pelagics eat more at night when the moon's illuminated. I tend to always think, hey, pelagics are eating better when the moon is lighting up the night sky. When it's not, they don't. And that's when the bait fisherman guy can go out and get his stuff. So right now, we are at a 99% waning moon, which means we have just passed the full moon. Waning means we're heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means we are heading towards the full moon. All right, so this is today, Tuesday, 99. We just passed it. Yesterday, Monday, was the full moon. I would love to go ad free. Anyway, tomorrow, Wednesday, 97%. Thursday, 92%. Friday, 86%. So Thursday into Friday, right? These are the days where it's actually good to go wahoo fishing. It's always, a few days before and a few days after when you're looking at if you're fishing your moon phase. And again, your tides can also help you if they are synced up with what's going on with the moon. All right, so today's the 14th, Wednesday's 15th, Thursday 6th. So this is Friday. Friday, the day where it looks like you might have some all right, pleasant seas. Get yourself an ad blocker. I know. Listen, I can work the computer. I don't know if it's laziness. It could be. Anyway, Friday, right? Saturday, when we get that south, the waves come from the south at the short period, 78%. Sunday, 70%. So heading into next week, we're looking at 60 halfway through. So I would say within the next 2 weeks, we'll be heading towards the dark side of the moon. Again, fishing at night for the snapper and all that stuff where the moon doesn't create a halo over your boat. Makes it a little bit easier to go out and catch your bait fish, your thread fins, your goggle eyes, all that goodness. Remember, bait fishing is horrible when you got a bright moon, great when you got no moon. Pelagic fishing is also better when you got no moon. Wahoo fishing and mackerel fishing is better when you got, you're a few days before or after. All right, so that's our moon phase, right? Perfect. Now, let's talk tides. Tides are important for the inlets, always. You got to know how to fish them. If you don't, you're going to struggle. Okay, so again, I'll go over this basically. If you are fishing an inlet, let's say you're a land-based fisherman and you're fishing off the jetties, or you're out on your boat and you're trolling past the inlet, you're trying to use that water flow, drifting, jigging, anything. If you're fishing an inlet, it doesn't matter how. You have to have the outgoing tide, which is this, going from high tide to low tide. If you're going from low tide to high tide, which means your tide's coming in and you're fishing an inlet, on the incoming tide, you will catch nothing. I cannot stress this enough. You're wasting your time fishing an inlet on the incoming tide, unless you just want to fish for the love of fishing and catch water. You have to fish the outgoing tide on an inlet. Okay. That being said, tomorrow, don't fish the inlet in the morning, midday, when all the fish sort of scatter because the shadows are straight up and down, and it makes them wide open for predators, and the bite turns off is when your tide is going out. So what we're seeing this week is that our outgoing tide for fishing the inlets is not in sync with when most people tend to fish, which is early in the morning at sunrise or in the afternoon towards sunset. And this goes on for Thursday and Friday when your better parts of the day are. In the afternoon, from about 2-ish to 4-ish, Friday looks like it would be, okay to go out there and do that. Do a little bit of an afternoon fishing special, see if you can get into a bite. Maybe Thursday too, not too bad. But definitely in the morning, don't bother fishing the inlets. So that would be next week it's usually week after week, this phase changes. One week, you'll have it where the incoming tide is perfect, and the next week, it's way out of whack, and it's something that you don't want to bother with. So that's our tide charts. All right, folks, and that about does it for what we got going on here. Now, before we head out, I just want to say, if you are in the market for some fishing apparel, don't be shy. Head on to WindFinder. The link is in the description here if you're looking for some fishing shirts. These are UPF 50 fishing shirts. That means you don't need sunscreen. Go on, check them out. They are the South Florida Saltwater Fishing shirts. It's got the logo. Go on, check them out. This is by our sponsor, WindFinder. Great stuff. They dry quick. If you get them wet, they keep you warm in the winter. They keep you cool in the summer. They come with hoods. They come with built-in gaiters. You can get them with just a hood. Again, they're totally customizable. They got a ton of different styles. I don't even know what I just did there. I clicked off it. There we go. Again, you can get the logo on the front, you can get the logo on the back. So if you are in the market for a fishing shirt, they all going to cost the same. It don't matter where you go. If you go and you buy one from Hook, it's going to cost you $65. If you buy one from WindFinder, it's going to cost you around $50. If you walk into a bait tackle shop like Race Bait and Tackle or Ace Bait and Tackle or True Value or anywhere, they're costing you $50. So, you know, like I said, hey, if you're in support the brand, go on ahead and get one, and you know, say hi to Josh when you order one. He's a great guy. Anyway, that is our shameless plug of the day. And before we call it quits for the day, I just want to invite everyone, if you are on Facebook, be sure to try and join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. This is the fishing page that drives this live stream every week. You make your submissions. So the fishing report page, front page, looks like this minus the date. You won't see the date. You'll see South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Go on, ask to join the group, answer a couple of questions. What's your favorite fish? Do you follow the rules? The rules are simple. No spam, no selling crap, no YouTube channels. I support YouTube people totally. If you're on here and you got a channel, I talk about it. I show you catches. I try to tell people, hey, go watch this guy's stuff. It's great stuff. But, you know, keep it nice, keep it friendly. You know, sarcasm always welcome. Even better is pertinent information and correct information. Like we said here, the guy asked about the Toro. People were, you know, good enough to tell him, hey, you know, yes, definitely, it's a snapper, keep it, eat it. Anyway, yeah, and then every Monday we drop a little Good Morning Monday post and tell everybody, hey, show off your catches from the last week. And, you know, if you submit a post, you're guaranteed to have it showcased here on the live feed. And again, as usual, with those posts always comes the chance of being the thumbnail. Again, like I said earlier in the show, it's better for me to make a thumbnail if instead of you holding your phone like this, take a picture, hold it like this, this with the camera up top. Hold it like that. It makes it easier to try and make a thumbnail. And again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. It just makes it easier to kind of spatially do that instead of cutting off your head and getting you here and half your fish. Anyway, all right. So that about does it for this show, folks. Hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I hope you can get out and get them. Thursday and Friday look like the day. So until next Tuesday, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.